wall, while others don't. With 1,000 reasons I should go about my day and ignore your whispers, which I wish would go away. Oh, you're not a voice, you're just a ringing in my ear. And if I heard you, which I don't, unspoken for I fear. Everyone I've ever loved is here within these walls. I'm sorry, secret siren, but I'm blocking out your call. I've had my adventure, I don't need something new. I'm afraid of what I'm risking if I follow you into the unknown. Into the unknown. Into the unknown. What do you want? You've been keeping me awake, I'm here to distract me, so I make a big mistake. Or are you someone out there who's a little bit like me, who knows deep down I'm not where I'm meant to be? Every day's a little harder as I feel my power grow. Oh, don't you know there's a part of me that longs to go into the unknown, into the unknown, into the unknown. Into the
But I want to start off first by acknowledging and thanking Jan, our music director, a stellar music director, in particular this morning because of the offering that she provided for us earlier, the song from Frozen 2, which is a very popular song in my household, as I understand it is in hers and maybe others as well. I'm sad that my daughter is not here today to hear that, but maybe you can send me that video. She would enjoy that take on it, I'm sure. It was beautiful, but it was inspired in part by a discussion about my topic for today, which is embracing the unknown. And as someone with that song going through my head pretty much every day for the last couple of months, yeah, it's that song felt like a natural fit for actually where the topic came from originally. It kind of was generated from an article in the most recent UU World magazine. Hopefully all of you know about and get the UU World magazine. For those of you who are members, it comes to you automatically, and this was the latest issue, and I just want to read an opening paragraph from an article by Anna Levy-Lyons, Kindness to the Thousandth Generation. And she begins by saying, "It was a strange and historic moment one morning in 1995 when a long truck pulled into Yellowstone National Park carrying 8 Canadian wolves. The shipment of wolves had been for years the focal point of explosive political battles and the stuff of dreams for wildlife biologists. After many false starts, the almost dashed hopes, the day had finally arrived. Nobody knew what exactly would happen." And that sentence right there jumped out at me. Nobody knew exactly what would happen. She goes on to describe the story of the reintroduction of wolves to Yellowstone, which probably some of you have heard in various versions before, but how when wolves got reintroduced into Yellowstone after being practically functionally extinct for many decades, that it wound up thinning the elk populations and other herbivores, which then allowed some of the flora that had become rare or extinct to rebound again, which then in turn encouraged other species like beavers and whatnot to repopulate again. And the whole ecosystem became restored in many ways just by the introduction of 8 wolves, and they're bringing them down from Canada after they had been lost before. So it's an inspiring story, but again, that line really jumped out at me. Nobody knew what exactly would happen. And I read that just not long, earlier last week or something, just not long after our Governor Jay Inslee gave a speech about how he was intending for the stay-at-home orders to be lifted, and really emphasizing the how and not the when. And I heard a lot of people responding to that with frustration and anger and other things, and misunderstanding and whatnot, because what I think people wanted to hear was something very concrete about when things would be put back together and exactly what time, and they wanted a timetable. And I during this pandemic, I do spend too much time on social media and that kind of stuff, and there's too much of this on there, but I can't help it. I get exposed to it like anyone else, but there really was a lot of frustration, and it was echoed too in the growing sense that we have about people who are, I would say, opposed to some of these restrictions on political grounds. And I'm going to say more about that in just a moment, but what the reaction to the governor's speech really underscored for me is that we do tend to live in a culture in which we really are encouraged to be focused on specific plans and goals, and people are told that, you know, you have to do such and such by this time and do such and such by that time. And what occurred to me in listening to the governor's speech was that he wasn't doing that. Instead, he was saying we're going to do things in response to the changing conditions. We're not going to just set out and decide that we're going to do X by this date and do Y by that date, but instead look for benchmarks in the world and have to be, and that means that we have to be flexible, and it means that we can't have certainty about when we can go back to work or when certain jobs can be reinstated or whatnot. And I also, I was reminded of this tension too when I saw, again on social media, a cousin of mine who lives in Missouri, who is a school teacher, and she had posted one of those things that comes up where a year ago she had a 1 year ago memory, and she had posted a year ago this calendar that she had up in her classroom that was a creative way to kind of illustrate how many days were left in the school year, and every day they were taking one down, and her students were really engaged with this, and it gave them a way of seeing, okay, here's much time we have left and how the school year is going to work and everything. And she posted this memory and said, yeah, this is what I was doing a year ago, and now we're kind of getting in a place where we're wondering how many days it's going to be until school's going to open again. And it's not something that she can post, but I was really taken by that, yeah, what she was seeing was an opposite situation, and not being able to put that calendar up, and it becomes a thing that's very difficult and hard for people to accept.